Hey, it's Micah. Sorry I couldn't get to the phone right now, but I'll call you back as soon as I can. Bye.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Hello, it's Brooke. Pick up. I've got so much to tell you. Anyway, call me back. Love you.
Let me send you a picture right now of my setup because my dogs, I think, have been bewitched by the spirit of don't lay down this morning until right now.
You do?
Look at the video I just sent you on your phone.
Okay. I'm doing this all from my bed, so I have like
Oh, me too.
Everything's
Every single
balancing.
week I record from my bed.
Sage. Okay, first of all, cute dresser. Little floofs. They're so cute. I need more dogs.
Cute. They're so cute.
Oh my gosh. Sam and I have been beefing for like 2 days. We have not been friends.
Why? What'd you do to her? Because she did nothing wrong.
What did I do? She's just been a maniac. I was like, you know what?
She's finally getting comfortable, so she's like letting out all the...
I don't know. She's been really good while we've been here, and I've been so proud of her. But, what was it? I had to go to the doctor Thursday. So I was out of the house, but like, I'm out of the house all the time. I work 10 hours. So I come back home and I was like, you know what? This poor baby's been in the house all day. It's supposed to be my off day. Like, let's go for a long walk. Let me just give her a little treat of enjoying life, you know?
A little sweet treat. What'd she do? She run into oncoming traffic? She bite somebody?
No. We go out for our walk, and I can tell she's like very excited. She's like trying to run out the door, which I'm like, Sam, I need you to walk because we have to look civilized when we're in this building. And so yeah, she's like running out the door. She sees a squirrel. She's got to go chase the squirrel. Blah, blah, blah. Just going nuts, right? And I'm like, okay, look, if we're going to go for a long walk, you cannot do this the whole long walk. So let's go ahead and correct it. We did our little figure 8 walks to get back on track. And like, if you're going to walk, you're going to walk right next to me. We're not running. We're not being crazy. So I think, okay, problem solved. She's a perfect little angel again. Let's go. We go out onto the street, and she goes across the street. She starts smelling everything. So then again, boom, straight back to crazy. She's smelling everything. She's going up to strangers. She's like sniffing what's in people's hands. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She's just very excited to be out of the house. And I'm like, you are a maniac. What are you doing?
You're making me look bad.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? She hates this little Thomas Jefferson statue. I think that's Thomas Jefferson. Yeah. And no, Benjamin Franklin.
Yes.
And she's like barking at Benjamin Franklin.
You need to take a video of her doing that and then post it on the page.
I'm like, Sam, move on. So
everybody that passes it can also have beef with Benny.
It's so embarrassing. So then we go around the corner and there's these little penguins. There's penguin statues. And she was really interested in the penguins. I thought, oh my God, here we go again. She's going to bark at the penguins. But she likes the penguins. So she went up, was sniffing all over the penguins. And then she's going crazy again. But there's no people there. So I'm like, okay, let's correct it again. Let's do some figure 8s. Let's sit and wait. Like, let's regroup. Worked for all of 5 minutes. But Thursday nights are really busy out here. Like Thursday through Sunday. Like, everybody wants to be out here going to the restaurants and stuff, so it was a little rough. So then I think we get back on track, we're going around the corner, we're, like, heading home. We've walked maybe, like, half a mile at this point. Nothing good. Like, not really a long walk, but whatever. And we're going around the corner of this restaurant called O'Dowd's, and it's very busy. There's lots of people. This is where people always want to say hi to her. Like, people are always outside wanting to pet her, and I'm like, okay. You know, we'll just move quick. We'll keep going. So we move quick. We go around. But she's acting like a maniac. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? She stops in front of the door of O'Dowd's and takes the largest shit.
Did she have a poop bag?
But it's the brick. And it was like, people are outside watching me.
Like, they're eating. Her poop is just wafting in.
And I was like, oh my God, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
She said, I'm going to show you, Mom. 10 hours at home by myself. I'll show you.
But like, I wasn't gone that long. I was gone like 4 hours. And then, but here's the thing. I always walk her in the grass first before we go on our long walk. And so like, I gave her a good 15-minute opportunity to poop the first time. Could you not wait till we got back to the grass? We were rounding. We were on the home stretch, man. You just had to poop in front of all these people. I had to like scrape it off the sidewalk with my hand in a bag.
Big it out of brick.
It was disgusting, and I was so embarrassed, and people were laughing, and other people were like, "Oh, she's so cute," and I was like, "Is she? Is she cute right now? Does she look very cute?"
Clean it up.
People are like in their best dress clothes, and they're just like poop smudges on the brick. I'm just like, yeah, have fun walking across that brick.
Sign out that says no German Shepherds allowed.
I was mortified. No wonder she's acting like a maniac. She's like, Mom, I've got to poop.
Yes, it's gonna come out, and it's gonna come out one way or another.
Yeah, I don't know. So it was an interesting day. I felt really bad after that because I was like, man, she just had to poop this whole time, and I was like reprimanding her for being a psychopath.
Oh my gosh, Coda, she's the one that she's supposed to be crated, but it was a couple nights ago, and she was just crying and crying and crying. She never, like, we let her out, like, last thing.
Aww.
Before she goes in her crate, and she's usually fine until morning. She's just over a year old, and she's not had an accident since she was, like, 4 or 5 months, truthfully. But she was just crying and crying and crying, and I kind of ignored her. I was just like, I was like, it's 2 a.m. You don't need to go. You went out like 4 hours ago. You're fine. This is the night stretch.
Yeah.
Fell back asleep, woke up 30 minutes later. She's just howling, and I let her out. She's covered in pee. Peed all over the crate, in her fur, shook it out, all over the dresser, all over me, all over Jake, and into the backyard, and then she didn't have to pee anymore. She just needed to dry off. But I was like, you know what? My bad. That was on me.
That one's on me.
That was on me.
Don't you hate when that happens when you're like...
I know, you're like, I know that I have to be right, and you have to be able to hold it. And they're like, no.
Oh,
dumb.
Already went.
I have to go right now. So how you been? What you been up to? What you doing?
Girl. What have I been up to? I moved. I started my new job. I love my job. I love my apartment. I love my neighborhood. And yeah, that's what's new. I don't know. That's pretty much been what I've been wrapped up in.
Just taking every minute of every single day just to unpack and go to work and make sure the dog gets a little walk around the neighborhood.
Literally. That's like my whole day. And it really does take up my whole day.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, well now I have to cook and plan for tomorrow and make sure Sam has everything she needs. And
oh my gosh, grocery shopping has become such a I must plan at least 2.5 hours to get everywhere.
It's ridiculous.
But I started a new job.
Yes, tell me about your stuff's way more exciting.
I started a new job. And I am really, really loving it.
Good.
I took a long time. Have we recorded since I got fired?
No.
Okay, so I got fired from my job.
Which, if you know you, is the most unexpected. I was so,
dude, we don't even have to talk about
baffled. I was so baffled.
Ridiculous reason, but probably the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
So I've been looking for a job just to make ends meet for like a week, and I had a couple different things that I was looking into that were more, I would say, like salary kind of career, like long-term longevity kind of positions that I needed to consider, especially because I'll be turning 26 in a month and a half. But I have volunteered with this dog rescue for close to probably like 6 months now. And they were needing a lot of help with, they call it big building. It's a lot of long-term dogs that are a little more people reactive or animal reactive or have a lot of like health needs that they need taken care of. And so they were needing somebody else on staff. And I wasn't sure if that would be the best position money-wise to get into. But I started last week. It's the first job I've ever had that I miss it when I have my days off. It is very hard. There's 60 dogs, big breed dogs, that we have to take care of every day. I'm always working with somebody else. I kind of got through my training period this last week. But it is so rewarding just to be in a position where you're like, okay, I know that I'm doing something, one, that I love, but two, that is necessary. So right now, I'm very happy. And I'm very tired after a long day of cleaning 60 kennels and walking 60 dogs and doing feeds 2 times a
Yeah.
day, learning medication and how they all react, because there's every kind of breed in there.
Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't think about you having to learn about medications. You're
Yeah.
doing like little doggy pharmacology.
Yes. Yes.
Fun. We're like the same. You're like a doggy nurse.
Because there's certain dogs, and I could go all day, so just tell me to shut up whenever you get annoyed by it. But there's dogs that will only they have to have like this full list of medication, because some of them have been surrendered because their owners couldn't take care of them medically, or some have just gotten really, really old, but they just need medication to keep up with their health. And so learning which dogs take these pill pockets and which ones like the chicken flavor better and which ones need like how much of there's one dog that's going deaf. He has to get him flushed out every single day. And so it's like learning how much he needs and how to like hold his ear, because he's a big German and his name is Pharaoh and he's so cute. But he's just scared because he's going deaf. So he doesn't really like a lot of people. But I have been able to get in the kennel with him. Yeah. Very humbling. I think to sit there with a power washer and like scrape poop 6 times a day, and then to like spray down all their, and to know like, okay, they have to be sprayed down to keep these dogs healthy, because there's 60 dogs in this one huge
Oh my gosh.
building. And so every day something, you've got to pick up all their poop so that they're not getting sick. You have to, it's concrete, right? So you got to power wash down and sanitize and make sure that their beds are clean and their food bowl is clean and their waters are clean. And then they go outside and you got to make sure they get fresh air for at least like 2 hours, 3 hours a day. And then you want to pet on them because they don't have anybody at home to pet on them. So then you go in each kennel and they all just get so excited. And some of them don't like me yet.
Yeah. You are a dog nurse. And it's so funny to hear you talk about it, because there are people that would be like, I can't believe that you scrape dog poop. I could never. You bathe dogs all day. I could never. But the amount of times I've heard that about like, oh my gosh, you wipe people's butts, or like you bathe people. So that is so interesting, because I know you have such a big heart for dogs, especially. You're just like a little dog nurse, and it's so cute, and you're just glowing when you talk about it, and I just love it for you.
Well, not really knowing that much about rescue maybe until I'd say about a year ago, honestly, when Coda was a puppy, because she's Karma's last litter. She was an accidental litter because Karma wasn't fixed. So after she had her last litter, we got her fixed, and then there were 3 puppies, and I will always be super transparent about that, because I think it's a big part of like why I love so much what I'm doing right now. There were 3 puppies that we couldn't find homes for, so we took them to a local shelter and just said, hey, we can't afford to keep these puppies. And just having no idea about like the shelter kind of crisis and the dog crisis, dropping them off and then getting more involved in it, to go in and see the dogs that have been there for 8, 9, 10 years almost in a shelter and have grown up and like raised there. It's just, I think, opened my eyes a ton to a problem that I didn't know existed. And I feel like it's really almost like an honor to try and take care of the ones that got left behind by their family. So now my goal is to try and help as many of them, especially the longer term ones and the seniors and everything, try to find a home before they pass away, even just for a little bit.
What are we gonna talk about today?
I have no living idea, to be quite honest with you. I feel like we've had a lot of things going on, but I don't know that they're particularly exciting.
I know, like, no, nothing too great. Huh?
I voted yesterday on the last day for early voting.
I'm in a pickle, because I hadn't thought about this. I hadn't thought about...
You're going to have to go back to Missouri.
Voter registration, right?
Well, you're still in Missouri, but you're going to have to go back to your county.
So my driver's license and voter registration is still in Seneca, which is 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, you're going to have to go there.
Guess what? I work until 5:30 p.m.
Oh, no.
I may not be voting.
On Tuesday?
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, let me log on and see if I can, like, do a change, because I've never done this. I've never moved during an election time. Right. And I guess there's, like, deadlines and stuff you have to
Yes, because I am registered in Dallas County,
Mm-hmm.
but we're in Denton County now. And
Yeah.
that's where my driver's license is. And so I went to, and I knew they were going to ask me questions because my driver's license didn't match my county registration. And when I went, they had to send me to another address over in Denton with specialized, they call it like a limited ballot. And that's where I had to vote, was all the way over in Denton. And that took, with the line, with the same amount of people who had to do the same thing, I want to say like 3 hours total, just like round trip, just to get it all done. But I was like, wow, I'd never voted from a different county either. I did a mail-in ballot last year, or last election.
Yeah, so that's what I was looking into. I was like, well, can I do a
Which was a whole
mail-in?
thing.
Can I do like an absentee, whatever? Can I do like a late registration deal? And Missouri, I guess, is like pretty strict on it from the research I did, but maybe I'm wrong. But it looks like literally I would have to drive to Seneca. But it's just impossible. Like the poll will not be open when I am off work.
I think our deadline was October 1st, I think, to change your address.
Yeah.
To like register for a new
I think
county.
that's nationwide.
Nationwide. It was nationwide. So yeah, that was a whole, I didn't know that either, that you couldn't, I thought you could just, change your address and you do it.
Yeah, me too. I was like, okay, easy, done. I'll just go to the post office and get a change of address slip and whatever. Apparently that's not how it works, and I feel like they should let more people know about that because now I'm not going to be able to vote.
I know. I feel like you don't get the hang of like how voting really works.
Yeah.
Probably until your 30s.
No. Did you get your sticker that says I voted? Well, now I feel dumb because
I have done my civic duty.
Right, but now I feel stupid because I'm like, it's so important to vote, and you wanted to vote.
I know. I felt so dumb. I felt so dumb yesterday when she was like, okay, well, you're going to have to go to this other place because and I was like, and she was really nice about it. They were really, really nice about it.
Nice.
I was like, I didn't know that, so then I ended up driving around and I had groceries in the back seat for like 3 hours because I thought it was going to be like.
Well, I thought about just going on my lunch break anyway on Tuesday and just showing up and being like, hey, this is what happened. I just moved. I didn't know, and seeing what they say.
Because you have to be let off to go vote. I don't know if they'll let you, but
yeah, I don't know if they'll like what they'll say, but I could just show up and be like, hey, this is what happened. Am I allowed to vote?
Yeah.
And if they say no, they say no, but
yeah.
Thanks, America. Now I can't vote. Gosh, just trying to be a good citizen.
You voted in your heart.
I did. I voted in my heart. I'll never tell who. But if whoever wins, I'm going to be
But if somebody asks me if I voted, I'm saying yes.
I voted. I did my part. Man. Whoever wins, if we agree or disagree, I'm going to be like, well, if it's not who we wanted, I'm going to be like, wasn't me.
That's on you guys. I didn't do that.
I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. You can't blame me. Dude, it's going to get, I feel like it is going to, I feel like everybody's a little bit on edge waiting for the next 3 days just because I feel like it's such a big election.
Oh my gosh.
Going on. And so we've had so many conversations about just how things potentially could change in the next 3 days, just depending on who's in office and who's running everything with everything going on around the world in general, but also here. And so we're just, good. I just keep telling her, I was like, good thing we got Jesus. Good thing we got Jesus.
So very ironically, because I was thinking about this too, I don't really give these things much thought. Like, I try not to worry about it because it'll just induce so much anxiety that I want to live like that. But I was with patients yesterday. I was rounding with our doctor, and there were patients, several of them, that started mentioning, like, make sure you go out and vote. Make sure you're voting for the right person. And they were giving their spiel on who their candidate was, and I'm like, well, this is really inappropriate to talk about your doctor's office, but whatever. And then I was like, wow, I'm in downtown Kansas City, and this is a really big deal election, and I kind of forgot, this is this could go a certain way and not be a great place to be in the mix of it all, because I was actually here, ironically, in 2020 for that election.
In Kansas City?
In Kansas City. I was living in Kansas City, but I was like barely on the Kansas side, and I remember that there was like rumors that there were not like riots, but there were protests going on downtown when it was Biden, Trump,
Right.
and people were like, stay away from downtown, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm
Right.
like, oh my gosh, I'm living downtown this time. And this is a really big time election. So if it goes one way or the other, like, who knows? I might just want to stay indoors for a couple days.
Because I didn't vote in, good Lord, come on, do math.
2016?
No, but who was the lady? What's her name?
Clinton?
Yes. I didn't vote in Clinton Trump because I wasn't 18 yet. I
Yeah, me
just
neither.
turned 18
Right after?
right after
Yeah.
that December. So I couldn't vote in that one, and then I did mail in the last term, and then I was able to vote in person this time. So that experience of like walking in and it actually being the way it was intended with the screens up, where it's just you're not allowed to wear like any political like affiliation or influence like hats or shirts or talk about it. You're not allowed to use your cell phones, like that kind of thing. It was cool to.
Oh, you're not allowed to wear like a t-shirt or a hat?
Nope, you can't wear any like
I didn't know that.
anything that would say who you're voting for or influence somebody else to do the same is the concept. They'll ask you to leave before you can vote or take it off. And
Okay.
yeah, and so seeing that, it made me think like, who you voted for in an election used to be just like your thing, right? Like there weren't
Yeah. It was private.
there weren't necessarily these huge conversations around whether or not like your whole identity was in one candidate or another. And I feel like now people are so defined by who you vote for that becomes your entire personality, character, everything in between, besides just following on which policy do I agree with and which way do I think I want my life to go in a certain direction within the next 4 years. And what do I think is the best move for the country in general. And I do feel like people are, at least in person, not being as like, okay, well, who did you vote for? Like when you tell people, like you show your sticker and you're like, I voted, and everybody's been, great, glad you did it, glad you performed your duty or whatever. But I feel like in 2020, if you posted that, well, it was who did you vote for? But it's still so crazy to me that who people think you are is now who you
Vote for. Yeah.
It was cool to be able to just do your thing, vote for who you wanted to vote for, and then move on and just wait. I'm just a little curious how the day of the 5th and the day after the 5th are gonna go.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would really say in the last like 2 years, I have started to care a lot more about specific policies, and I become super passionate on things that I'm like, okay, you're not going to gaslight me into thinking this is not right. And you're not going to tell me that I'm crazy for thinking this certain way about a certain policy, And I've become a lot more confident in that. And I've cared a lot more since even being in the vicinity of having a family, right? Like I'm not married. I don't have like that official title yet as a stepmom, but being in a relationship with somebody who does have a child has brought up a lot of conversations about like, okay, what do you think is like the best route for an America that she wants to grow in, or that she's going to grow up in?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's been super influential on.
Well, and shoot, that we're still growing. Like, I think we are so young. Like, we've got a lot of growing up to do in our America, too,
Yeah. But it gives you like a little bit of a different lens to say, like, okay, maybe I was wrong about this one. And I think we talked about this in like a past podcast episode. Like it's okay to change your mind, be like, okay, I was wrong about that. Maybe I was a little bit, naive to this. Maybe I was a little bit influenced by this, and to just be able to sit there and is away from social media, say, hey, this is who I think, not who you guys think is going to be the best, not who family thinks is going to be the best, but this is who I genuinely believe is the best decision for right now, has been very cool.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I got my little sticker. So
I I got a sticker.
I don't know. It's just gonna be an interesting week.
That's how they're like, you're the specific population that they're catering to when they have the stickers. How can we get this demographic to vote if we have stickers?
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I used to just not care at all, which
I think is very normal for
I still
teenagers into early 20s. I think you don't really get an idea of that until
Well, I mean, I had it. I mean, I always knew it was important, and I always knew that, you know, that shapes your future and your children's future and whatever. But I even still hold this belief of like, I just had this conversation with my cousin's husband, which this is hilarious because I told him I was going to talk about him on the podcast, and now I'm talking about him on the podcast. So I'm talking about you, calling you out. But I was talking to him, we were talking about like politics and business and all kinds of things, and just kind of like the tiers of businesses and how people in the bottom are totally clueless as to what goes on at the top, kind of like behind the curtain sort of deal. So I had kind of expressed to him already, like, it feels like to me, which his opinion is his opinion, I'll let him speak for himself, but to me, it feels like no matter what I do, whoever they are, they're gonna let whatever they want to happen is gonna happen. Like, I can voice my opinion, I can be a really passionate advocate, but at the end of the day, I'm a little person, and my advocacy, as much as I want it to matter, at the end of the day, the people with the money and the power and the resources are gonna do what they want to do. Does my vote make a difference? Yes and no. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get that.
So I do care, but I also know, like, I can't let that overtake my life because to a certain extent, it's out of my hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
So that's kind of my opinion on politics, which I may change my mind in a couple years. Who knows? But at this point, I still feel that way quite a bit. It is out of my hands. And, you know, I try a lot harder now to actually, like, if a policy is talked about, or if there's like, you know, those stupid commercials that come up and are like so extreme and dramatic about one person's greater than the other person, I try to actually go and pull up that policy. What does it actually say? And how can I break that down into little people words and make sense to me? Yeah. And then go from there. How does that affect me? What do I think about it? But also, like, I don't know. That's a lot of work too. And I just don't think a lot of people have the time and energy to do that. Like, I don't want to be a full-time politician. I want you guys to just cut it to me straight. Like, just tell me what it actually says. Because I don't care about your beef with Aunt Sally. You know, I don't care that y'all were beefing in 2008 and your political parties aren't friends and whatever. Like, just tell me what the policy actually says so I can decide if it's, like, good. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, and I feel like that's a big, maybe deterrence, not the right answer, but I do feel like that's a big issue for everybody. Like, I don't care about all of your lingo and the way you're trying to, like, dress it up and make it fancy and sound right and da-da-da-da. Just, like, tell me what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it. And I feel like people are so tired of, a lot of people are so tired of, like, the political game of it, that it does just become exhausting to the point where it's like, okay, I don't care. If I'm not gonna actually get a say and I don't feel like I'm being represented in any way, why would I care? Why would I take 3 hours out of my day, you know, to bounce back and forth from different voting locations to get it done if it doesn't I think a lot of Americans share that mentality about, why would I go out of the way to do this when I don't really understand if I'm being represented, right? Or if it's just this party in general with a whole lot of money floating around at the top gonna do whatever they're gonna do anyway. You know, and making it sound nice for, like, the little people, but does it actually do anything?
Right.
You know?
It almost feels like, and this may be a huge reach, but you remember in school when you're learning about like voting rights, and they would purposely, like, they finagled that amendment of like, oh, you have to let everybody vote or whatever, regardless of their skin color. You know what I'm talking about?
Like the Voting Rights Act?
Yes, but they would like go around it. So like they would, like, if people didn't know how to read,
Oh, yes.
you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
I'm not wording this correctly in my head, but I'm trying to get it out.
Retort.
But I'm so stupid. Anyway, it almost feels like that, but in a much more broad sense for like the entire American public. Like maybe if we can just keep this in our lawful lingo to where they don't understand it,
Yeah.
then they can't have an opinion on it, and then we'll just do whatever we want to do.
Or if they can't, there's almost the idea like if they can't,
Or we'll
like,
tell them what they want us to tell them.
exactly what I'm trying to say, because it's so broad and so vague and so politically correct, then it's like, oh, okay, well, it sounds great, and nobody's going to look any further into it or
Yeah.
expect much further into it. Which I get that. I think a lot of people have that kind of.
And then everybody's like, oh, well, the policy is right here. It's written, it's public knowledge. Okay, well, yeah, it's available to the public, but we don't all work in politics. We don't all know what all of these words mean. And like,
Right.
I don't have a political education. It's going to take
Right.
me hours to go through this and understand what it means. So why can we not just put this in some layman's terms to where the general public can understand it and make an informed decision?
No, I get that. I get that. I haven't studied. I use Google. And
Yeah.
I have just started to kind of break down what certain terms mean and how they are really going to be enforced within the last year, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I know that they teach you about these things in high school, but they do the bare minimum.
I think you get like the basic gist of it, but I do think you really have to care to try to understand it better.
And nobody cares about this when they're teenagers.
That's right. Nobody cares until it starts to actually become a part of your life in some aspect, like starts affecting something.
And then like in college, we're required to take a government class. I think it was like a history class or government class. Don't make that face. Don't make that face.
No, I said I didn't go to college.
Oh. Okay, but in general, when you go to college, they make you either take a history class or government class. I think I took a government class, but they did not. They brushed the surface of like it basically high school. What are the 3 branches of government? Like, come on, teach me the things that I need to know.
Legislative branch.
Right. Like, teach me the things that I need to know for my everyday life, like to understand taxes and policy and, you know, like I feel like we're being so underserviced as a people, if that's the right word.
That's all important to just get the idea of it. But I feel like a more comprehensive, this presidency enforced these policies and those therefore led to this outcome, which either we did or didn't like. And so then the next election, this president, rectified these things with these certain, like policy to policy, kind of bouncing back and forth and seeing the cause and effect of how, which is available to you if you do your own research. But if it was presented in high school in that way, I think it's a lot more interesting and a lot more involved and a lot more knowledgeable than just saying, hey, this is the basic layout of what your government is. It should be a more in-depth study into what the government does and how it has really affected and like bled into everyday American citizen life from policy to policy and president to president, which you learn all the president's names, but you don't go into depth on.
Shoot, I never did.
Except on the basic ones, Washington, Lincoln.
I didn't have Mr. Wydick, okay? I didn't learn all the presidents.
I mean, there's just a lot that you miss on if you don't take the time to
well, and here's my thing, is somebody's gonna watch this and be like, wow, maybe don't be lazy and look it up for yourself. Okay, well, calm down, because here's the thing. I have to look up and educate myself on politics, on finances, on health, on nutrition, on education. Like, I literally can't keep up because the world is feeding me so much misinformation that I'm having to weed through what food is good to eat. What is the FDA actually good for? Like, is the FDA actually telling me the truth or not? What
Yeah.
medications are good for me to take? What kind of exercise do I need to be doing? How much? When? You know, like, how do I
How
avoid
much
an
money are you
injury?
putting into a savings? How much money comes out when my taxes are
What
done?
the hell is a Roth IRA? What is a
How do I
401k?
get a 401k?
Right. Like, I have been so uneducated that now like, if I actually wanted to understand every aspect of my life, I might as well be in university. Like, I might as well be in full-time enrolled in school, but like at home college. You know what I mean? Like,
It's not even just government, right? It's health, it's education, it's finances, it's everything in between. And you would need probably 3 to 4 hours every single night.
yeah, it's ridiculous. And nobody, like, then you don't even have the time to do the things that you're researching. Like, then I don't even have the time to cook the healthy food or exercise or do the
You're Uber eating McDonald's while you're studying about the FDA.
right. And it's just, I don't know. It's so frustrating because I want to know, I want to learn, but I also want to have a social life and I also want to like go touch grass and go outside and
I think a huge thing for me, it's kind of like what you said, but
then too,
I
like,
try not to let it consume me, but I do have very specific things that I'm interested in. And
mhm.
then I have things that I really don't have that big of an opinion on because I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I'm not
Well, and
educated
I
in
don't even
these
know what I
things.
have an opinion on and don't have an opinion on because there's so much to
Yeah.
sift through. And then I also want to learn so much more about like religion and world religion and how that affects my everyday life and how that affects my politics. And this is all so time consuming. I feel like every time I think about it, my brain's just like gonna implode.
Yeah.
So for all those people that are like, just look it up. Just look it up. Yeah, I'll add that to the list. I'll add it to the list of everything else I
How
have to
about
look up
how
because
about
I
you look it
wasn't
up?
properly
How about you look
educated.
it up and make a PowerPoint and then send it to me?
Yeah. Send me the Spark Notes, okay? Because I'm trying.
Send me your study guide.
Anyway, that's my rant for the day.
Man, you remember study guides? That took me back. My palms started sweating because I felt like I had a science test coming up.
Girl.
One way or another, the world's gonna keep spinning. I think
Right.
I have a preference on which way I would like to spend the next 4 years.
Yeah, for sure.
I have done what I can, and outside of that, it's just a matter of if I'm in the majority or the minority on this one.
And I tried to do what I could, but America,
And I wrote it in my art.
Missouri said no. No, ma'am. You moved? Not voting today. You didn't know the rules? Sucks to be you.
Next to be you.
Sorry. I voted in my heart. Just know that. Everybody listening, I am not an anti-voter. I'm not one of those people
And
like,
if you
I'm
ask
not
me,
gonna
I'm gonna
vote.
say
I
yes.
voted in my
And if you
soul.
ask me, I'm gonna say yes. I'm just gonna say I threw my sticker away.
Yeah, I'm gonna order my own sticker on the internet and wear it all year.
Right. On Amazon, I voted stickers.
I'm gonna make a personalized sticker that says, I tried to vote, but Missouri wouldn't let me.
Missouri didn't give me a moving 411.
But I know technically it is my fault and I should have looked this up, but I didn't know that I needed to look it up because I didn't know it was a thing.
It's like it always, right when the timeline comes around, is when you think about it.
Yeah.
You're, I wonder if this is going to affect me, and I have 24 hours notice to
Yeah.
figure it out.
I didn't know. I'm sorry, America. I didn't know.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
I don't know. We'll see.
She lives in Kansas City, guys, if you need to take your pitchforks. They're going to go door to door.
There's a lot of places and a lot of people, okay? If you find me, good for you. Good
Find
job.
me, maybe I deserve to be found.
Yeah, honestly.
Your bed looks so comfy. You remember that conversation we had about the duvet? I feel like you got a duvet.
I almost got a
You
duvet.
didn't tell me.
I almost got a duvet, and then I wanted just to be a little more on the cheap side, so I did get a comforter. But the comforter's already like pilling, so I'm gonna duvet soon. But it is the coziest. And
Did you do anything for Halloween?
no,
Yeah, me neither.
I'm not.
I've never been a Halloween girl. I put on Halloween Town for the first 10 minutes.
Well, I don't have like Disney or anything to watch it. How did you watch it?
Oh yeah, we have Disney Plus. I can give you
Yeah.
my Disney Plus if you want it. I think Disney's still unlimited households. I think I do Disney, Mom does Netflix, and Rachel does Hulu.
Oh,
So
nice.
we all have like a
Yeah.
we're like, what's your password?
Hello. So I used to watch Hulu for the Kardashians and for The Bachelor, but have I told you recently I am no longer associated with the Kardashians.
That's big news.
That's huge news because not to get more political or conspiracy theory,
You know, I love a conspiracy.
I have fallen down the P. Diddy rabbit hole.
My goodness, when you were talking about money at the top, when people were doing Lord knows what with all the money they got, I was like, okay, Diddy.
I have gone so far down this
Psychopathic.
rabbit hole. I have found out information I didn't even know that I wanted to know, and now that I
You
know, I
listen to
can't
the Rotten
unknow.
Mango podcast?
The what?
It's called Rotten Mango. It's a true crime podcast.
Oh no.
It's Stephanie Sue, I think is her last name, but she has like 20 different channels. But her true crime podcast is called Rotten Mango. And it's super intense, but I've listened to like every single episode, and she did a 4-part deep dive on the Diddy case just with what we
I have
know.
to listen. I have to listen.
Each episode is at least 2 hours.
See, but I feel like I could talk about it for 8 hours. Yeah, because of all the stuff that I have like.
I'm gonna send the first one to you right now.
There are some things that I've put together in my own head that we'll see if it comes out to be true. But because I'm such a diehard Kardashian fan, I've started like, you know, some things are adding up in my head that I'm like,
I know.
Excuse me, hold on, because that would make a lot of sense, and I don't like that makes a lot of sense.
I have a whole don't even get me started. I have a whole opinion about Hollywood now.
And I love my girl Khloe Kardashian. I gotta jump off the Kardashians.
I don't even watch the Kardashians, and that's my least favorite one.
Really, you don't like Khloe? I love her. I love her.
I don't know anything about her, but I don't like her.
Yeah, and there's just a lot. There's a lot. I can't even. If I start talking about it, I won't stop talking about it. So I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole. But just the things that other people have uncovered. I told my mom, here's the thing. Here's what's happening in modern day America. Through recent events, I am now a certified FBI agent. Okay?
Yes.
If I want to find something out, I will find it out immediately. Or within 24 hours, okay? You know, no hard stops anywhere. I will figure it out. I will connect the dots. Just think about how many other men and women in America have that special talent to find something out within 24 hours, to deep dive, to FBI agent, to put certain things together, use their sixth sense powers.
Right.
So now you've got not only the nation, you've got worldwide people accessing all this information, putting their great sixth sense minds together, bouncing ideas off of each other in real time on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Like, we're the people's FBI out here. We are solving this case. And I told my mom, I'm like, I wonder if real FBI agents, like CIA people, if they are actually like listening to these and gathering information and clues and stuff. Because I feel like there's a lot of really smart cookies out there. There's
so much going on that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for 20 years. That's the crazy
part. For longer. Okay. And yeah, all the people that died that I'm like, they didn't deserve to.
You know, the last episode is about Biggie and Tupac.
Okay, I do have to talk about Whitney Houston, though.
About who?
Whitney Houston, because this is the one that bothers me to my core. I love Whitney. I am a huge Whitney Houston fan, and there's this. You know our video. I will always love you. Our little video we're singing. Okay. Anyway, there's this interview with this old white man that looks like a nasty. He's a wealthy white man. He's in the middle of this interview. There's somebody sitting to the left of him, sitting to the right of him. One of the people is Brandy. Do you know who Brandy is?
Yeah.
Okay, actress, singer. She was Cinderella.
That's Cinderella. That's how I know Brandy.
That's Cinderella. That's my girl.
Cinderella. That's the people Cinderella.
So Whitney Houston drowned in her bathtub. That's how she died.
Right, from an overdose, right?
Okay, yeah. So this interview is happening, and Whitney Houston comes into frame with wet hair, and she says, my gosh, I almost drowned in there. She comes up, she slides a piece of paper to Brandy. She hugs the white man. And he looks surprised to see her. Then she like says something else to somebody out of frame, like, come on, come say hello. And then Brandy looks at the piece of paper, her face changes, and then she realizes, like, she knows she's still on camera, and she goes back, she like hides the piece of paper, and she smiles again, like she knows she's on camera. That is the last time Whitney Houston was ever seen.
Wait, what video is that?
It's just like an interview. And then the reports came out that she drowned in her bathtub and she died.
Interesting.
We gotta fact check this because I just watched it like a couple days ago, and it has bothered me to my core because if they did my girl Whitney Houston dirty like that, if she's out there like in the witness protection program, I need to know.
If she's out there in the witness protection program.
Somebody tried to kill my girl Whitney, and now she's living on an island somewhere. I just need to know that she's okay. How bizarre.
Sorry, I'm gonna go silent for a second. I'm investigating. Hold on.
Yeah, it is.
Really, I'm not conspiracy theory. Like, I think people are still alive. Like, that podcast goes into people who think Tupac is still alive, and I don't think Tupac's still alive.
I don't think Tupac's still alive, but I do think other people are in
like
like
Michael Jackson's still alive. I don't think Kobe's still alive. I don't
either.
Like, that's not really conspiracy. Like, to me, that I get sucked into is the whole Diddy thing, right? How you have that many people around you and you're not going to tell me that there are suspicious activities too? And you have that much money and you're telling me that no other executives, no other big names, no other anybody at the top is in charge of all that?
Well, there's somebody above Diddy.
He was acting alone. You're not going to gaslight me. You're not going to gaslight me into thinking that Diddy's acting alone.
No, there's people above Diddy. Listen,
But who?
I have my theories. I have my theories. I've got theories, and I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to sound insane. Here's my deal. Listen to Kanye. Listen to Kanye's interviews before he fell off.
Cat Williams.
Yes, because they sound insane when you're out of context.
Everybody's insane until you're proven right. Everybody's insane until you're proven right.
Oh, there's another thing that says Whitney Houston warned Brandy, and it's an interview where Brandy's speaking. It's 8 minutes long, though.
That's interesting. I love looking up a good conspiracy theory video.
Hurry up, she's not breathing. And later on to find out they were talking about Whitney.
I was in the same hotel as Whitney. Yeah, because you were doing an interview.
Same hotel as Whitney Houston on the day she died.
I'm gonna have to dive into this because, yeah, we know you were in the same hotel.
Girl, she sent you. Podcast.
You're like, my dreams are coming true.
This is my plan all along.
I did tell somebody the other day. I said I've fallen down the P. Diddy rabbit hole. And I said it feels a whole lot like true crime. And I've always made fun of my best friend for her true crime obsession, but I kind of get it. This is your my awakening. Did you see the people dressed up as Alona Mayer?
If you were gonna dress up as anybody, I actually thought that you love her so much you might dress up as one of her like Dancing with the Stars outfits or something.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? Well, I saw the costumes after Halloween and I was like, oh, I should have. That was my golden opportunity. I should have done that.
I've never been a big Halloween. Like, I don't even remember the last time I ever dressed up for Halloween.
I have only ever dressed up like at work.
That's probably the last time I dressed up was when I was teaching kickboxing. They did like a costume night or whatever, and I went as one of the girls from Hustlers.
I
had a big fur coat.
That's cute.
Oh yeah, I had cute pictures.
That's cute.
I had cute pictures. It was like the one costume I could do because I had like leather pants and like a sparkly like top, and then I just had to go get a big fur coat. It was so fun.
That is fun.
Yeah. That was funny when you sent me that text and you're like, it's time.
Huh?
Mariah Carey's defrosting as we speak.
I'm normally not a November 1st Christmas person, but this year I just need some holly jolly, and it's Christmas. It's Christmas right now.
I've seen a ton of people have trees up for Halloween. People are posting their Halloween costumes with trees in the background this year. I could probably tell you 6 or 7 posts on Instagram.
No.
I'm here for it. I don't care. We can just go right. We can include Christmas and everything for 4th of July.
I think November 1st has got to be the cutoff. You can't do Halloween with a Christmas tree.
Scrooge. I think we're doing a small Christmas though this year, which is fine. I think I'm getting to the point where I don't really care about gifts and stuff for Christmas. I just want everybody to be together. But that's okay.
Oh my gosh, I didn't tell you. I got rear-ended.
Like bad?
Well, no, but so I was going to see my family this last Friday, and I'm at a red light, and I'm typing in my directions to their house. Still, the light is red. I'm completely stopped. Somebody totally misses the memo, just rams right into the back of me. You can hear their car like their car is messed up. But I have a hitch on the back of my car for towing, like a towing hitch.
Yeah.
So I think they hit my hitch. So I just had like dirt marks on my car. It did not dent. It did not put a scratch on my car. Thank God.
That's good.
But Sam was hanging out the window. Bless her little heart. She was so distraught because she got knocked like halfway out the window. I got terrible whiplash. Had like a bruise on the back of my head from my hair clip. And these people like backed up, drove around me, sped away with their little crunched up car. So I pull over. I call the police because at this point I don't know that my car doesn't have any damage.
Right.
Because it sounded awful. And the way that it, like, whipped my head forward, I thought, like, oh my God, my car is ruined. So I'm, like, on the phone with the cops and tell them what happened. I'm walking around and I'm like, well, actually, there's no damage. Doesn't look like I didn't hit the person in front of me. They must have just hit my hitch and, like, they went on their way. And he's like, oh, well, if you're not seeking medical attention, your car's okay, then you can just report it to the website or whatever as a hit and run. I'm like, okay, great. That's going to do nothing, but thank you. So I was totally fine while I'm on the phone with him. Then he's like starting to hang up the phone. And he goes, okay, well, are you okay? And as soon as he said, are you okay? I went, and I said, and I hung up the phone and I just PTSD, just like full body shake, crying, I couldn't breathe. Sam jumps from the back seat into my lap and she's just curled up in my lap in the front seat. And I called my mom and I said, hey, I'm having a panic attack. I'm okay. My car's okay. We're all okay. I just need you to be on the phone with me because I'm having PTSD. And so we just sat there for like 10 minutes probably, and she just talked to me on the phone about what was going on. And I was okay. But ever since then, my anxiety, my everything has been just through the roof. It just stirred up something crazy.
I'm so sorry. That's rough.
This podcast was all over the place today. We got political.
We talked about anything productive.
We didn't, but it's
whatsoever.
Fine. We'll have a plan next time. We're just getting back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Took a little brief hiatus because I was going through some things.
Daily savings is tomorrow, the end of it, so we get an hour.
Yeah. Hallelujah, Sam.
Hopefully the weather's gonna cool off. Thanksgiving's coming soon. I get to eat mashed potatoes, so I'm excited for that. Christmas is coming. My birthday is in a month and a half.
You're gonna be on the other side of 25.
30. Officially gonna be closer to 30 than 20, which is wild.
That's insane. How did we get here?
Shut up. You're not even there yet. You shut up.
I'm like 6 months behind you.
We'll talk in May.
I'm 5 months behind you.
Yeah. Otherwise, those 5 months in between, respect your elders, you know?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And you know, as soon as you turn 26, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, you're so old.
So old.
You're like almost 30.
You decrepit grandma. You're almost 30.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That hurts. That made my stomach feel icky.
That made my hands sweat. They say your 30s are the best decade, though.
That's what I hear.
So I'm excited. I don't know what.
Maybe things will turn around, you know?
I got 4 years to just coast on through. We should plan a trip for 30.
That's a good idea.
But like the summer after we're both 30, so that we're both 30.
Mm-hmm.
And we should go to Italy.
You know all about Italy, so I'm gonna let you tell me where to be.
I would like to go back to Greece though too.
I do want to go to Greece badly. I've never been, so just take me, okay?
And they have such good food.
I have to tell you a crime I committed. No, but listen. I got the fluffiest, biggest
Croissant.
chocolat croissant
I knew you were going to say croissant.
from a local bakery. Okay? And it was so fluffy and gorgeous. And I took it home. And I took a big little chunk out of it. And I ate it with my little latte. And then I thought, this would be good if I warmed it up just a little. Melted the chocolate just a little bit. I just wanted to warm it up. Make it a warm croissant, you know? I hit the wrong button on my microwave. I got distracted. As I've been very distracted this week.
You molten lava'd it, then you burn it.
This thing was cooking in there for a minute. A full minute.
Those only need like 5 seconds.
They needed 5 seconds. I thought it was 10 seconds. And it was a minute.
Hard.
It was so hard. And it was not fluffy anymore. And it was criminal activity. But I ate it anyway. And it was still pretty good. But I was so upset. I paid like $5.
I'm gonna eat it.
I paid like $5 for this, and I was so excited about it, and it looked so good in the little window, and then I ruined it. I walked all the way across the street, came back home, up the stairs, and I torched that thing.
I'm just saying, if I had a fluffy croissant, it would have gone in the oven instead of
I would have torched it in there, too.
It would have been in there for an hour. Just
it would have been in there for like 2 days.
Black rock.
Yeah, a brick. Anyway.
And I still would have eaten it.
Oh,
Lord, what are we going to talk about next week?
I don't know. I have a list of people that I want to interview.
That's what I was going to say too, because we've been talking about politics and everything all week long. But I told Jake that if we ever get a presidential candidate on the podcast, he can come on and ask some questions.
If we ever have a presidential candidate on our podcast, I'm going to be so concerned. How did we get that power?
But let me tell you something. Seeing Harris on Call Her Daddy seems like the dumbest PR move.
Time! What?
That seems like the dumbest PR move I think I've ever seen in my life.
Kamala Harris went on Call Her Daddy?
Did you not know that?
No!
It was the dumbest interview I've ever seen in my life. And they talked about nothing.
I'm so baffled.
Because Trump went on Joe Rogan, that just got released. And then JD Vance went on. Gosh, what's his name?
But Trump going on Joe Rogan seems much more logical than Kamala Harris going on Call Her Daddy.
I'm just saying, for interview sake, the presidential candidates are now going on podcasts, so we could
weird.
Get there. But Harris went on Call Her Daddy and was interviewed, and it was the worst thing that she could have done.
That's gonna go in history. That's gonna be in history. That is gonna be documented in history. That our presidential candidate was interviewed on a podcast called Call Her Daddy.
And was expected to be taken seriously.
Nothing against Alex, whatever her name is. Good for her podcast for being what it is. But wow.
I know, it's crazy. But I think that we could evolve eventually into something more sophisticated, you know? And I'm just saying, if we ever have a presidential candidate on, he said he'd love to ask a few questions. I said, okay.
I'd be scared.
Yeah, me too. But you know, at that point we gotta be like secure, whether we're if we're gonna get canceled, we still gotta have like some security. All right, well,
thanks for listening to our nonsense today.
So glad to be here. If you guys are ever around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, let me know if you need a dog, because I got 60 of them that are waiting for their forever homes.
If you're ever in the Kansas City area and you have a heart attack, come see me at work.
And, we just had so much to tell you.
We'll have so much to tell you next week. Make sure you follow us and interact with us. We have a website.
We're going to get our social media back in kind of a groove and post more regularly.
Follow us on Instagram and we'll eventually post to YouTube. I keep saying we're going to post to YouTube, but then I wake up and I look like this. So
I was going to say we can't post to YouTube until we actually get like some kind of semblance of presentability.
Anyway, yeah, thanks so much for listening. Whatever Micah already said, I'm just repeating what she said twice.
I feel bad. We didn't even have a verse for this week. I'll post one on Instagram.
Oh my gosh, we're heathens.
I know. We didn't prep at all.
Heathens.
Horrible.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, bye.